Hello, everyone. This is Saturday here in Singapore, and I have a client in about 1 hour. And I decided to make this video because it's been bugging me. And the topic is how introverts can cope. I think I have a pretty good coping strategy over the years, and so I thought it might be useful to make this video and share this with you. So, my name is Martha, and I'm a relationship counselor and clinical sexologist. What I do is I work with individuals and couples with sex and relationship problems, challenges, issues, needs, wants, questions, and support them so that they can live a happier and more optimal life. One where they can express themselves with each other and not be afraid of sex, intimacy, communication, and learning how to assert themselves. And for myself, it has been a personal journey as well. And so I'd like to share this with you. So when I first started my practice 10 years ago, this year will be the 11th year. So when I started my practice 10 years ago, I wanted to uh, work very, very hard and earn a lot of money and make myself available to clients at any time. I would say like from 9 to 9, they can see me. I did notice that at about 10 p.m., my brain would start to shut down. And so I decided that that wasn't a good time to see my last client. So I started to offer myself, the hours is 9 to say like 9. So I was working really, really hard when I first started my practice, Monday to Sunday. Anybody can book a time to see me at any day, anytime. And when my partner at that time moved to Singapore, and he saw how I was doing my practice, he said how unhealthy it was, and so I blocked out one day in a week. So I Saturday, Sunday is a time when a lot of people have time off work and would like to see me. So I would block out Monday. And it was like a long time coming for me, 2 years into running my practice, not having a single off day, and just available to anybody at any time. And now suddenly I had an off day that I forced myself to have on Monday. And so I'm going into this story because I want to explain to you this story so that you understand more what I mean by introvert coping skills. So when I had my Monday off for the first time, because my partner at that time forced me to take an off day, was suddenly I realized how much tension and stress there was in my head, like, get this done, do this, do this, do this. And I was so much in doing and thinking mode. But when I had that off day and I told myself, you are off, don't do, don't think, it was difficult. It was difficult because if you're a workaholic and you're used to working and thinking and all the time, to have an enforced off day, it's like your brain actually has this it kind of like turning off your computer, I guess, like really making sure even when your computer is running, or even if your computer is on sleep mode, your computer is actually still running. So when I have the off day, I had to actually tell myself to turn off my brain and just come back into my body, into my feeling, into my desires. And having that did not cause me to be less productive, actually caused me to be more productive, because when I had a proper rest and proper reboot, I was able to work much better. So having that insight that actually the first thing is I'm so used to working, so I had to force myself to not work, knowing that it's not comfortable, I'm not used to it, but I had to do it because it was really important to my survival, to my relationship. But when I did it, I had that mental downtime, and I started to feel a lot better. And so this at first was doing it for someone, then it was doing it for myself. then having that off time actually allowed me to be much more productive. So with that insight, I was like, you know, my mind is like all over the place. So I noticed that when I block out times, it was better. For instance, if I have 3 sets of media questions, I schedule it such that I sit down at one time and answer all of them in the next 1-2 hours, was much better than trying to pick up pockets of time, like half an hour here and there. And so here I am talking more about time management. But as an introvert, what ended up happening was when I had that space where I was like, okay, Monday is my off day. And so Tuesday would be my admin day. So I would still tell clients that I'm off on Tuesday, but actually I'm doing my back end work and my planning and my social media posts and my writing on a Tuesday. So Monday is like my off day, no work, no work, no work. And workaholic in me would be like, oh, I'm not working, but I have this to do. And then I'll say, wait a minute, you have Tuesday. Remember, you can do this on Tuesday. So I ended up having 2 off days a week, and it worked so well. So what happens is I actually block out time in order to cope. I block out time so that I can really start to prepare myself at the back end, like, okay, at this time you're going to do this. So basically I create a date with myself to do my writing or to do my social media posts or to do my media answering question kind of thing. So as an introvert, now I shared with you this story. Now I'm sharing with you what I have learned as an introvert. So what is an introvert? Introvert is somebody who gets exhausted when they're around people. And it was so overwhelming for me when I started my practice, the first 2 years especially. Every single week, I was meeting new people. Not only new people, but people coming to me with problems, people coming to me crying and sometimes screaming and shouting at each other even. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that because I put myself out there to be a space holder and to support them. However, as much as this is my calling and this is what I love to do, and and I really, really love what I do, but I cannot help but be affected. So the first 2 years, I was working all the time. I was seeing clients. I was seeing more new people than I would like, and I was just constantly overwhelmed. And some of you may remember that I would say that I would see clients, and then I would just collapse. I would sleep for the rest of the day. I would prepare myself mentally for this client that I was going to see. And you can see now my clients in 1 hour, but I'm already fully dressed because there have been cases where clients show up like half an hour early. The reason why they show up half an hour early is because they are not familiar with the area and they don't want to be late. So as an event organizer, as a counselor, it's quite common that people just show up very, very early, sometimes half an hour early. So that is one of the reasons why as a professional, you need to be, actually you need to schedule time so that there is that time in which you prepare yourself mentally to start to arrive in the space, and people don't see the amount of work that we do at the back end that they think they are not paying for. We do continue to serve our clients even after the sessions. For instance, I write them a summary of the sessions. So anyway, coming back to this topic of how I cope as an introvert, because this was overwhelming me. So what I started to do was I started to block out chunks of time so that I can go into flow more easily. So it's much easier for me to see 7 clients in one day or 5 clients in one day rather than 1 per day, because each time I actually had to set myself up in the sense that I have to prepare myself mentally, physically. I have to arrive in the space, I have to dress up, put on my makeup, I want to look good, I want to dress in something that's a little bit more professional and not too casual. And so when it comes to things like that, actually it's better to try to people call it like group them together. And as an introvert, trying to not make myself so available to clients and saying instead of like 1 on Tuesday and 1 on Wednesday, why not 2 on Tuesday instead or something like that. So as an introvert, I find that it's much easier for me to cope when I schedule to meet my friends all at the same time. So I try to kill a few birds with one stone. And I do like this passing it on kind of a thing, like your friends are my friends and now all my friends are friends with each other, so that they don't have this dependency of, oh, I have a crisis and now I need to talk to Martha. Oh wait, I don't have to talk to Martha, I can talk to this other person too, who is also amazing, wonderful person as well. So my friends become each other's friends and they can support each other. And when I meet them, I I try to meet some of them together, or if they don't want to meet, then what I do is I schedule them one after another, so that this is my people day, and then I have days where I do not see people. It's so important for me to have days where I do not see people, because I already see, like I mentioned, new people every week, and sometimes I don't feel like I have a break. I don't feel like I have a break. So few years ago, I started to do this organically, but I've stopped doing it, and maybe I should go back to doing it, which is every 3 months I take 1 week off. And it is painful to take 1 week off, and not see anybody and not do any work, not see any clients, because it's like a time to really, instead of my 1 day off per week to reboot, I have this 1 week to just play, to just be frivolous, to just like wake up and have a late breakfast or early lunch, or binge watching on YouTube, or go to the park, or and not have to really think about work. So that would be a really great thing to do. When I did that, then the joy in me came back, because as you know, introverts, we need a lot of alone time, and we charge by going inside. And I know not all introverts are the same. So now that I've shared a little bit about my story, let me come back to what is the point of what I'm trying to say. The first thing is that helps me as an introvert is monitor my energy. Depending on my energy, it cannot be that every week just one off day is enough. Sometimes I need more alone time. So what I do is I block out the minimum alone time, and then depending on my energy, I may schedule more alone time, depending on what I'm going through. Another thing that has helped me a lot is to map out my moon time, my period, my cycle, when I know I'm likely to be ovulating and when I know my period is likely to come. So it has happened before when I've scheduled workshops and clients when I am really, really affected by my period, and I know that I would be very tired. And true enough, I wasn't performing at my peak level when I was running workshop and holding space for like 15 people. So it was important to, on my schedule at the start of every year, where's my calendar? I would block out when is new moon, when is full moon, and because okay, I'm very fortunate because I've told my body, I work with my body so much so that my body's period coincides with the moon. So what happens is when I'm likely to ovulate or when I have my period, I avoid those periods to run workshops. And so as an introvert, monitoring your energy means having fixed, because your brain actually psychologically actually looks forward to that off day. So it's like a little treat, it's like a reboot time. So you block out that time. Depending on your energy, you need more time. And for me, I need more time, say when I'm ovulating or around my period. And it's really good because I'm not fighting my body. I'm listening to the cycle of my body. So life comes in ups and downs, in cycles. And in Singapore, we don't really have spring, summer, fall, winter. But there are other cycles going on in the world. There is the moon cycle, the moon, the physical moon. And then there's the moon inside you as somebody who has a vagina. So watching your energy, blocking out time, scheduling alone time, and having boundaries with friends. For instance, this last year, I acquired a whole pool of new girlfriends, and it's beautiful because I got to know them through my different events and through the red tent that I run every new moon for women. So I came into having all these beautiful, wonderful, amazing sisters, and a lot of them are coaches themselves, and I needed to create boundaries with them, like because I moved office now. I have this place that friends can just drop in and stuff. And what ends up happening is a few of them, they actually just text me and say, hey, what are you doing now? Can I come over now? And it is not good for me because I had already planned in my day, like last night, what I'm going to do today. And so I actually mentally already set myself up, physically, mentally, energetically. I already set it up. And so to have people say they just want to drop in and see me, catch up with me, go for tea, go for lunch, it just, sorry, pardon my language, it really just fucks up my mind and my body and my day, fucks up my day. So I needed to create boundaries with my friend. It's not their fault because different people have different styles, but I needed to speak up for myself. So I finally did it today. I just finally explained it to this friend of mine. Look, it's nothing personal, but it is disruptive for me when people just want to see me on the same day, because I set myself up mentally to do certain things on that day. Even like, for instance, today I went to the gym for an extra half an hour. So this friend said wanted to meet me between 11 to 2. Great, but what do I do 11 to 2? Do I sit in the office and wait for you and you decide to come at 1:59? What, you know? So actually I had already set out like to go to the gym, and I don't know when I'll finish the gym. And so that's kind of what I mean, like it screwed me up. So what I needed to do was just tell this person, look, I really love you, and that hasn't been working for me. I don't take it personal, but this is how it is for me. I set myself up for the day, and actually have things planned, and even though they can be shifted around, but I really rather not do that. And the next thing is, okay, so a few things. So let me recap. The first thing that I said was, the first thing that helps me as an introvert is schedule alone time. The next thing is to watch my energy at any time, and maybe schedule more time if needed. Set boundaries with friends. Tell them what is my preferred style. So I used to have this group of friends, and we have this unspoken thing among us, which is because my friends are usually all very loving, and so this group of friends, they know if you don't hear from Martha, it's a good news. So no news is good news, because she contacts us when she needs us to hold space for them, and she reaches out to us when she feels like she wants to have social time. But then my new group of girlfriends, especially last year, they don't know this, right? So they are messaging me and contacting me and saying, hey, what's up? Your video looks different. You look energetically down. Are you okay? I was like, oh my God, if I just get like every single one of these new friends, like 10 of them, messaging me, I'm getting 10 messages a day, is too much. So I needed to tell them that, hey, look, I can't deal with this. So you need to have boundaries with your friends, whatever the boundaries look for you. And it's not about like, you know, if you are afraid, like if I say this and they're going to be offended, you need to understand that as much as you're holding something in your heart and you are not allowing yourself to say it, you're not doing them any favors either. So it's about having that honesty. When you show up and you are vulnerable, sure, they may not like it, but actually they will appreciate that you are being brave and honest, because that is a mirror to them. That's an invite for them. If, since I can do this, maybe you can do this. So you're actually role modeling for your friends that they could possibly do this in their life as well. So for me, like, I needed to be very clear with this particular friend today that, look, it doesn't really serve me to keep messaging me and say, can I meet you today? Because it's not good for me. So that's that. And then the next thing is, the fifth thing that I want to say for introverts is that when you feel that you are well rested enough, try to be brave and venture out. Try to stretch your muscle, venture out. So when you venture out, you need to be very clear about why you are doing the venturing out. Perhaps it's an event that you want to learn something from. Maybe you want to go and learn like shamanic drumming. So why are you wanting to do it? Okay, so if you want to go for this event, then what does it take? Okay, so if I'm going to go for this event on Friday, that means maybe I need to replenish myself, prepare myself to see these people. So maybe I'll keep like Thursday like really simple, so I don't see so many people, so that when Friday comes, I'm not so overwhelmed. Or maybe on Saturday after your shamanic drumming class or something, you schedule time so that you come back into yourself, you give yourself time to reintegrate. So it's very important to know the what you want to learn, what you want to do when you venture out, why you're doing it. The why is very important. It anchors, makes you feel brave and strong. It's like a muscle. And then to schedule time in which you have downtime. And so the why, what, and the how is very important. Like for introverts, how do I get there? How do I get there in a way that I don't feel drained even when I arrive? So for me, going on public transport, squeezing on the train, on the bus, sometimes I feel exhausted by the time I reach there. So what it can be is maybe I treat myself. Okay, I know that I'm going to this shamanic drumming event on a Friday. So then I block out my time. I don't see any clients. That means I also don't try to rush and see client like just before and take cab there. And if I take public transport, I'm going to feel overwhelmed. So maybe I'm going to treat myself and do an extended treat in the sense that I take the cab there, or maybe I take the cab one of the way to there or back there, or whatever. So working out the logistics of why you want to do something, what you want to do, how you want to do it, scheduling time before, after, the transport of getting there, even doing research, say on the website, like how do I get there, what bus do I take, like all these things helps you to really start to prepare yourself to do these things so that you venture out, so that you are brave. If we just keep doing the same thing, we never really grow. So people have difficulties believing that I'm an introvert. I find it really, really annoying. But what people don't realize is that in this 10, 11 years that I have been practicing, I have put myself out there so many times in so many ways that it has just become easier and more natural for me to perform. Perform. I have to psych myself up, and on days when my energy is lower, that's when I feel that people don't really get me. I don't really connect with people as well. It takes me a while to warm up to a space or to a person. It's not that easy, but it doesn't mean that I stop trying. I keep doing what I do, and I keep stretching myself. I keep venturing out because people are important. I want to help people, and helping people means putting myself on the line to be judged, and I do need to be brave. And by practicing venturing out in small ways, in little things that I can manage, it does help. So as much as I say that I don't go for networking events, um, it really isn't something that I should be proud of. It is challenging for me to go out and be at an event where there's like few hundred people. It is challenging for me, but I do need to prepare myself. So because if I do nothing, then I will never grow. So it's really about stretching that muscle so that I become more open. And so it's true that meeting people one-on-one is easier. However, it's a time energy exchange, isn't it? If I meet one person at a time, then it's not really that effective as well. So grouping these appointments can help. Then it's like, okay, I'm going to see 3 people today. You psych yourself up, you take it easy, you create downtime for yourself after you see these 3 people, for instance. So even with friends, I do that. I group those things together. Even with my work, I group my clients together as much as possible. With media questions, I group myself so that I'm more in flow. And how you create this more in flow is you actually set an intention. You actually even tell yourself, okay, I already booked out tomorrow to answer the media questions, and so you can already set your mind up and say, okay, mind, tomorrow we're going to do the media questions. We're going to answer them. We're going to do it very well, and we're going to be guided. So you can set an intention. You can do a prayer and stuff like that to prepare yourself so that you are optimizing your time. Optimizing your time. Okay, so just to recap, because I've been going on for a while, just to recap what I've been saying, because I do write down and take notes of what I'm saying. The first thing is scheduling alone time, downtime, rest time, guarding that time, protecting that time, telling everybody, no, I'm not going to see you. This is my time. This is my time. So blocking it helps, and monitoring it moment by moment. Just because you have one off day a week, like myself, it doesn't mean that it's enough, because depending on where you're at, you may need more. So what you need to do is you need to monitor yourself, monitor your energy, schedule more off time if possible, if needed. You need to tell your partner, hey, this is my me time, if you need that. You need to have boundaries with your friends. You need to be able to tell them, like, this is the way I am, like, please don't message me like after 10 or whatever it is that you need. In my case, please don't try to meet me on the same day. It's actually quite overwhelming because I already set up in my mind what I want to do on that day. And the next thing is be brave when you do venture out. This is how you can venture out. You can ask yourself why you want to do it. Why is it important? What is it that you're going to, how you're going to get it done? Maybe you can do it in a nicer way, like you can take the cab back and forth. You can treat yourself. You can schedule time before, after that venture out, like as a little reward treat to yourself. You basically got your energy. And then you have the logistics worked out in your head, like how you're going to do it, and things like that. So I hope this video helps you, those introverts out there. And thanks for watching this video. Thanks for your support. The sun is coming in now. Thanks for your support of my work. This is more of a little personal related kind of a video. And if you are interested in my work, you can go to my website. That's eroscoaching.com, and you can subscribe to my mailing list. That's where I put out content that I don't sometimes I don't share publicly, but I share this with my client, with my people on my mailing list, because I see you as, like, you know, vested in me. You subscribe to my mailing list. You are like in my inside circle. So yeah, do go to my website, subscribe to my mailing list. And if you don't know, I have a YouTube channel with a few hundred videos. Kind of like this video is like a talking head, where I share many different kinds of videos. So most of them related to sex, because that's what people have come to expect me to talk about. So yeah, so this is more of a personal video. That's why. So yes, thank you for watching this video. Thank you, and have a good weekend ahead.